Meet Jeff Gray, an Army veteran who's made it his mission to educate police officers about the Constitution, one body cam encounter at a time. Armed with nothing but a camera and knowledge of his rights, Gray has exposed countless officers who don't understand the very laws they're supposed to enforce. In one shocking encounter, Gray was arrested simply for holding a "God Bless the Homeless Vet" sign. The charge? Panhandling. The problem is that he wasn't asking for money, he was exercising his First Amendment rights. But this Army veteran wasn't about to let corrupt cops trample on the Constitution he once swore to defend. Today, we're diving into how Jeff Gray's First Amendment audits have exposed a disturbing pattern of police misconduct across America. These officers thought they could intimidate a citizen into submission. They were dead wrong. Get ready to see what happens when constitutional knowledge meets police corruption. Jeff Gray isn't your typical activist. He's an Army veteran who served his country and understands the Constitution better than most cops he encounters. Gray runs a social media channel called Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations, where he conducts First Amendment audits, testing whether police officers respect citizens' constitutional rights. The incident that would change everything, it happened when Gray decided to peacefully hold a sign reading "God Bless the Homeless Vets" in a Georgia town. As a veteran himself, Gray wanted to raise awareness about homeless veterans, a cause close to his heart. He wasn't asking for money, wasn't blocking traffic, and wasn't causing any disturbance. He was simply exercising his First Amendment right to free speech. But local police officers saw something else entirely. They saw a man they could intimidate, a situation they could control, and an opportunity to flex their authority. They had no idea they were about to encounter someone who knew their rights better than they knew their job. What happened next would expose not just individual officer misconduct, but a systemic problem with how police departments train their officers about constitutional rights. When police officers approached Jeff Gray about his "God Bless the Homeless Vet" sign, they immediately made their first mistake. They assumed he was panhandling. In their minds, anyone holding a sign on the street must be asking for money. But Gray wasn't asking for anything except respect for veterans. "I'm not panhandling," Gray calmly explained to the officers. "I'm exercising my First Amendment rights." The officers weren't interested in constitutional law, they were interested in making an arrest. Despite Gray's clear explanation that he wasn't soliciting money, they decided to arrest him for panhandling anyway. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a deliberate violation of his constitutional rights. But Jeff Gray's case didn't end with the arrest. This is where the story gets really interesting, because Gray knows exactly what to do. He contacted the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, a civil liberties organization that fights for constitutional rights. FIRE immediately recognized what had happened, a clear violation of the First Amendment. The legal challenge that followed would expose just how badly the police had screwed up. Under the First Amendment, holding a sign to raise awareness about homeless veterans is protected speech. The government cannot arrest someone for expressing their views, even if those views make some people feel uncomfortable. But Gray's encounter with police corruption, it goes far beyond this single incident. His First Amendment audits have revealed a pattern of officers who either don't understand constitutional rights or simply don't care about them. In one encounter in Florida, deputies fabricated laws to detain him for doing his job as a citizen journalist. Deputy Crystal Bustamante and her partner insisted that Gray identify himself, even though he was on public property and not suspected of any crime. When Gray refused to comply with their illegal demands, they told him he was being detained. But here's the problem. You can't detain someone without reasonable suspicion of a crime, and photography in public is not a crime. "I'm conducting a First Amendment audit," Gray explained to the deputies. "Photography is not a crime." The deputies didn't care. They'd made up their minds that Gray was going to be detained. Constitutional rights be damned. This is exactly the kind of police overreach that Gray's audits are designed to expose. In another shocking incident, Gray was confronted by federal agents within minutes of recording a Federal Reserve building in Jacksonville. Lieutenant Andrew Taylor and Sergeant McGrath surrounded Gray, demanding to know who he was and why he was taking pictures. "What's the purpose of the pictures?" Taylor demanded. "Who are you?" McGrath added. Gray remained calm and professional, explaining that he was exercising his First Amendment rights. But the agents weren't interested in the Constitution. They were interested in intimidation. This encounter perfectly illustrates how government officials at all levels often view citizen oversight as a threat rather than a right. What makes Gray's work so powerful is that he doesn't just expose these violations, he educates viewers about their rights. Through his channel, Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations, he's created a library of encounters that serve as teaching tools for both citizens and law enforcement. The irony is thick. An Army veteran who served his country is being arrested and harassed by the very people who are supposed to protect the Constitution he defended. But Gray's military background gives him something many activists lack: discipline, patience, and an unshakable commitment to his mission. His approach is methodical and professional. He doesn't antagonize officers or create unnecessary confrontations. Instead, he simply exercises his rights and documents what happens. When officers violate those rights, the camera captures everything. This documentation has become crucial evidence in legal challenges. Courts can see exactly what happened, exactly what was said, and exactly how officers behaved. There's no disputing the facts when they're recorded in high definition. But, perhaps most importantly, Gray's work has the educational value that extends far beyond his encounters. Every time an officer violates someone's rights on camera, it becomes a teaching moment for thousands of viewers. People learn what their rights are, how to exercise them, and what to do when those rights are violated. The impact of this education cannot be overstated. In a democracy, an informed citizenry is essential for holding government accountable. When citizens don't know their rights, these rights become meaningless. But when citizens like Jeff Gray demonstrate how to exercise those rights, they empower others to do the same.
As a matter of fact, the most viewed videos that I have on my YouTube channel are the positive encounters I have with the police, because that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to happen. I want the police to respect our rights, to understand our rights, and not violate our rights.
The legal victory in Gray's God Bless the Homeless Vets case sent shockwaves through law enforcement circles. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression successfully challenged the unconstitutional arrest, establishing an important precedent about First Amendment protections. But the real victory wasn't just in the courtroom, it was in the countless officers who learned about constitutional rights through Gray's footage. His videos have been viewed millions of times, educating both citizens and law enforcement about the proper limits of police authority. Gray's work has contributed to a broader movement of First Amendment auditors who are holding police accountable across the country. These citizen journalists are creating a new form of oversight that's more immediate and more accessible than traditional complaints processes. The message is clear: when citizens know their rights and are not afraid to exercise them, police misconduct becomes much harder to hide. Gray's camera has become a powerful tool for transparency and accountability. Gray's story proves that one person with a camera and knowledge of the Constitution can make a real difference. His encounters with police officers, they've exposed a troubling gap between what the law says and what officers do on the streets. From the God Bless the Homeless Vets arrest to countless other encounters, Gray has shown that police misconduct isn't just about individual bad actors, it's about systemic failures in training and accountability. When officers don't understand basic constitutional rights, every citizen interaction becomes a potential violation. But Gray's work also shows the power of citizen oversight. Every time someone exercises their rights and documents the response, they're contributing to a larger conversation about police accountability and constitutional rights. The lesson is simple: know your rights, exercise them responsibly, and never be afraid to hold government accountable. Because, in democracy, the people are supposed to be in charge, not the other way around. Subscribe for more shocking true crime and body cam footage.